Hey everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Today we are doing a speed build. I feel like I haven't done a speed build in a while, and that's very strange for me because I definitely love building in The Sims. I think it's the thing I do the most. And I was thinking, what did I want to build? And I was thinking, since we're getting the Sims 4 Paranormal Stuff pack very soon, I wanted to take my hand at seeing what we have in the game currently that we can use to make kind of haunted houses. This is a good way, I guess, to try to find out what packs will go well with the current pack, as well, visually, maybe gameplay wise, which, gameplay wise, we don't fully know until we get the pack. But I was trying to see what items we currently have in the game to kind of mix and match to make a haunted looking Victorian. Of course, since it's a Victorian, I was using Strangerville, Realm of Magic, and vampires. Those are the packs I always tend to go to when I'm trying to build a Victorian or 19th century style home. This one I did kind of go a little different. I feel like a lot of my Victorians lately have been looking kind of similar, so I was trying to go for a different floor plan. The dining room, I don't really love where it is. It's kind of in the main entrance, but I think it's fine because I really wanted to leave more gameplay for when we get the pack, and I can go back in and modify this, maybe add, the seance table or any other cool items we get that would really help flesh this build out. Of course, once we get the pack, I'll make another one, probably in Willow Creek, but I thought, building here in Forgotten Hollow would be fun. I really love Forgotten Hollow. It has such a fun aesthetic to it. This build, also one thing I wish I had done, I wish I'd given it a proper kind of like chimney on the side. You'll see what I end up doing for the chimneys later, and I don't really like them, but it is what it is. I really do like this build though. It not only was super fun to do, but I think, I don't know, I kind of like how it came out. I gave it a little cemetery off to the side. The living room is nice and big, plenty of room for, different activities. I definitely had lots of fun, as always, using Strangerville. I love the Strangerville windows, as well as I used a lot of base game windows as well, which is very new. I don't use a lot of base game windows anymore, especially when building Victorians. If I'm building like a base game or trying to build a very cheap, inexpensive and pack, not a lot of pack, kind of like starter home, I'll use base game. But I actually was using base game of this and I really like it, so good, good job to base game. I actually really do like the base game build items. I think the base game doesn't get enough praise because the base game, of course, does have a lot of problems. They've definitely addressed a lot of the problems as the years have gone on, but there's still some things in the base game that are lacking and that we definitely need if we're going to keep going forward with this game. But with that said, I do think the base game doesn't get enough praise. So I used a lot of base game items and windows and build mode. When I was first building this, I was like, oh my god, I'm going to restrict this pack to just a few, and then literally threw down like a university door. So I do apologize. This is a little pack heavy. When I was doing the furnishing, I was trying to keep it to a minimal. I would definitely say the packs you mostly need if you're going to download this off the gallery is you'd probably need vampires, university, just for the door really. But if you don't have university, just replace the front door. But yeah, you'll need Strangerville, vampires, Realm of Magic. Those are like the top ones. If there's any other things missing, you can very easily replace anything. And I'm doing this weird thing with the roof here. I don't really know if I like it, but I think it's fun. It's almost like a little witch stacking. I don't know. I was definitely have troubles with the roofing. I really love doing these kind of like Victorian, like slanted roofs. They're called bloated roofs. But they're sometimes so hard to do in The Sims. But I really like how this one came out. I like the bloated roofs too because they add a little bit more space. Sometimes in that attic space, depending on what kind of build I'm doing, sometimes I'll add like a vampire layer or like a witchy layer. In Strangerville, I added a lot of the those spaces to be like where the the Sims who are doing the like Strangerville mystery like hide their stuff, even though I think Sims with the paranoid trait actually prefer to be in basements. But I don't know. I don't really like basements in The Sims 4. I do build them occasionally. I just don't really love them. But yeah, you'll this home is also massive. The rooms are very big. I definitely could have made some of the rooms smaller to maybe fit in a few more, but it still ends up coming out to like 4 or 5 bedrooms and like a lot of bathrooms. If you get this, you can also definitely switch up some of the rooms. Like if maybe you think one of the bedrooms might be better as a study, or there's a study upstairs you might want to change. You can also change the one of the bathrooms, maybe if you think one of the bathrooms can be something else. There's definitely, I always encourage people, if you download my builds, feel free to edit them as you like. I'm not gonna be offended. Just don't like re-upload them as yours. You can definitely re-upload them as like a renovation. Just like make sure to credit me, but as long as you don't just claim it's your build. Because if I see that, I won't be happy. But I do really like how this build generally came. I think there's a lot of windows too, which generally I wait to add windows because windows do make it so hard to come up with floor plans, which is why I think some of these rooms are so big. But I really liked having all the windows. It probably doesn't make sense because the people who would probably live here are probably like some kind of supernatural occult creatures. So, living in a home with big wide windows might not be the most logical, especially if you're maybe trying to hide who you are. But I guess here in Forgotten Hollow, I don't think there's much of a reason to hide who you are. But that also reminded me, I was thinking the other day, because so we know with aliens there's a little you get like a little pop-up if you have revealed yourself as an alien, and if you've been caught being an alien while using like your alien powers, it can affect your not your fame, but the how people view you, that that value that we got from Get Famous. I forget what it's called, but the one where people know if you're like good or bad, essentially, or like what your public opinion, public view of you is. That goes down to like more than negative, so then you're more likely for people to be like, oh, I heard you're a bad person. So, but I did notice, I don't think they really have that. I know they kind of have that for spellcasters, but there doesn't really seem to be that for like vampires, in the sense that like vampires are like using their like mist form to run around, and like no one's ever like, yeah, that's weird. It's only when like vampires like use their powers on you and others see that's like, well, public opinion about you is definitely gonna go down, Vlad. So I don't know, that was one thing I was thinking. I also noticed with aliens, if they are caught using their powers, or if they woohoo with someone, they get revealed as an alien. But I also see them walking around town without their alien like disguise on, and nobody questions it, which that's something I think the game needs to fix. I don't think any of the aliens should be running around without their disguises on. Like I said, I do not mind having occults in my game. I am totally fine with it, because the way I always view it is like, in like the real world, if aliens and vampires existed, you wouldn't know if they were there, because they'd probably just be like among us, bippity bopping around, and you just wouldn't know. So the idea that like this alien's running around not in their like disguise, I'm like, no, that's where it bothers me. I don't mind seeing Vlad around, because even though I, the player, know Vlad's a vampire, that doesn't mean my sim knows, So, but it's like when I see him then using his like mist powers, and I'm like, okay, Vlad, you aren't even trying. Literally, Judith Ward's right there. So that's one thing I would definitely like them to maybe fix. And I think it just kind of adds more to like I don't want to say the realism, but it adds a little bit more to like the lore of the world. But as you see here with this build, when I'm trying to think of like what things we have haunted, a lot of it just ends up being like the torn wallpapers and like the like damaged walls that we get from like Strangerville and Vampires, which I'm super excited to incorporate that with actually the new haunted house lot type. I also put the tragic clown painting. I feel like the tragic clown is kind of forgotten. I think the tragic clown's kind of funny in the sense that like you just look at this painting and you get sad and then this sad clown pops up on your lot. I don't really like how the tragic clown works in The Sims 4 in the sense that it's not a specific NPC just named tragic clown. Rather it's like a weird townie that just gets designated that way. I don't know, that's one thing about The Sims 4 with some of their NPCs I don't really love. Like, Death shows up as Death. And like the flower bunny shows up as the flower bunny. But then like the tragic clown might show up, his name might be Larry. And it'll just say like occupation, like tragic clown. I'm like, really? I don't know. I think that's one thing The Sims 4. I don't know if it's too late to fix that. If they can't fix it, it's not like a make or break thing for me. It's just like one of those things where I'm like, that kind of ruins like the immersion in my opinion. I don't know, I just feel like if I'm gonna have a tragic clown show up at my house, I don't want him like to be anything other than a tragic clown. And then the reason I bring this up is because you can build a relationship with the tragic clown, but then in your like panel he's just known as like Bob or whatever. It doesn't say he's a tragic clown and you can hang out with him and he won't be a tragic clown. I'm like, that's where it gets, which I mean, I don't know, maybe that's a profession. I'm not here to shame anyone whose profession is being a tragic clown. I don't even know what I was talking about for a second. Sorry, I just went, oh yeah. So I put the tragic clown painting because I think that'd be funny. I gave it the haunted lot, which is going to soon change to spooky lot. And pretty much it's going to function the same as it did before. They're just changing the name so you don't get confused. As well as I think it makes sense because all this lot does is attract ghosts to your lot. And yes, while that's like haunted, they don't really do anything other than they might break some things, run up your electric bill, or just be like, hey, it's me, the ghost of, I don't know, your Sim's mom. But yeah, you can see these rooms are huge. I really like this build. I'm excited to play with it. I made this family to live here, and they're a bunch of roommates. And what it is one of them is a mortal, and she, in the story I'm telling, has no idea, like the supernatural exists. She was just looking for like a cheap roommate, like a cheap rooming situation. She moves in here, and her roommates are one's a vampire, one's an alien, and one's a witch. Though, and they'll have, when we get the new pack, I'm gonna try to get the witch into the like occult, like paranormal investigator career, and have her go around and like do those things. The vampire, I have him working like the night shift at a store. So I thought that was kind of funny because, he can't go out in the day. He's a vampire. He has to wait till the sun goes down for him to go to work. And then the alien, she works as a scientist. And my idea is just that this human just is like so oblivious, and she like lives in Forgotten Hollow next to Vlad and the Vitors. And also in my game I have the Cullens. By Cullens I mean I have Bella and Edward. So it's like this super vampires everywhere, and she's just kind of like bibbity bopping around. My idea is that she's like, oh yeah, her job, she's also a barista. My idea is that she's just like super oblivious, and she's kind of boring. Like her goals in life are just to like exist. Like she doesn't have any big dreams, and if you ask her about it, she's just kind of like, yeah. It's not like a sad kind of like, oh, she has no motivation, no dreams. She's just kind of like, she's existing, and that's enough for her. But yeah, you can see here, I don't really like how I did the chimneys, but I wanted chimneys because if you're gonna have fireplaces, and I wanted them to vaguely line up, but like they don't fully line up because I was not being like super sometimes when I put chimneys in houses, I like will make sure that like right above it is either another chimney or like at least a space that would look like that, like the chimney's like in the wall or something, so that way, you know, it kind of doesn't break that immersion. But in this one I was like, yeah, I don't, sometimes you just don't care. In actuality, I probably should have just put it off to the side or something, I don't know, but I quite like this build minus that. Up here in the attic I have like another bedroom, which is like this weird like kids, almost like kids looking room. I also have like a little witches area, like there's like the cauldron and then like a little table and stuff to, like, you know, do your potion work. But yeah, I really just wanted it to look a little dilapidated, a little haunted, a little spooky. And that way, you know, once we get the new items and the new lot type and a bunch of the new gameplay, this could really become a good, fun haunted house. Like I said, I'm going to build one in Willow Creek because the stuff in that pack from the trailer, they seem to have a very, like, strong Louisiana kind of southern vibe. So I think putting it there would make the most logical sense, as well as I want to just build haunted house, like at least a single haunted house in every world. It's one of those new lot types to me, like where it's like tiny homes where they're just like so fun to build. I feel like it's gonna be, which, I mean, it might be different because tiny homes, what makes them fun is like trying to build a tiny home or a micro home and like follow the rules. The difference with, like, I guess a haunted home is like there really aren't gonna be much rules other than maybe put this gameplay feature down. But I think just like the gameplay in them is gonna be so fun that's actually gonna be like, I don't know, I'll want to play in them. And I'm super excited to play through that new career. I think it just sounds so fun. I really want to also do a video where I just kind of talk about the evolution of stuff packs, because stuff packs, in my opinion, have come a long way, especially since The Sims 3. I used to never buy any stuff packs in The Sims 3. I thought they were utterly awful before. And a bunch of the ones in the beginning of The Sims 4 I don't really like. Some of them I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but I think they've gotten a lot better. But anyways, I'm gonna be wrapping up my voiceover here soon. You can get this on the gallery. I might upload the Sims that are gonna live here too, in case you want those. And keep on the lookout for when we get this new pack and I do another build. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Get ready for the photos.